Hello everyone, I'm Suzanne Baer, and what we're going to do today is have a discussion on artificial intelligence. And so I've brought along the smartest people that I know. These are 4 professors from the mathematics and computing department. We're excited to be here today to expound a little bit on artificial intelligence. Our first segment, we're going to talk about what is AI, artificial intelligence, a little bit about the history and the technology. In the next segment, we'll just discuss some of the concerns and challenges of AI. And lastly, some of the great benefits that AI can bring to society and has brought to society, and even individuals like yourselves. So let's get started. Dr. Lang, I'd like you to talk a little bit about the technology, some of the history of AI for our audience.
Yeah, so artificial intelligence has a long history. It's been around over 50 years. It's really seen an acceleration due to the advancement in technology of computers themselves. Mm-hmm. So the underlying theory of artificial intelligence hasn't really changed recently, but the advent of really fast computers has made the artificial intelligence more powerful. And so artificial intelligence, the idea is to basically simulate human intelligence mm-hmm. within a machine, from either like playing chess, or learning, or image recognition, or language skills.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. And how about some of you? What's some more, perhaps, examples to help the audience understand the technology of AI and some of its power?
Well, AI is a very powerful tool. Well, all AI tools are very powerful, and they have that capacity to produce text in an instant. And that makes them so very much wanted by students, by people from different industries, especially if they deal with text, if they work with text, because people want to shorten the time. And we have to consider that possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Communications. My English is not good. I'm from Chile, have a very thick accent. When I'm doing grammar of emails to my boss, for example, doesn't sound right, and I can see I could improve it. And many times I use some AI tools to actually get better to my emails. Sometimes lose kind of the candid aspect, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. My boss will appreciate it.
And it can create images or videos, so there is nothing left over.
Uh-huh. How does it do this, though? I mean, how does it just create a new image, a new video, new music?
So what happens is it gets trained on a set of text or videos or music, and it learns the patterns that are inherent within that data. And then with the neural network that's on top of that data set, you can query it and actually have it to almost randomly reproduce similar patterns that are almost these days indistinguishable from the real thing.
Mm-hmm. And how would that be helpful, these pattern recognitions? How is that helpful to society?
Well, after you create your model, the training could take months if the data set is very large. But after you create your equation, the output is going to be produced almost instantaneously. It's going to be as fast as the computer could evaluate that variables. So we can use it in any kind of field, from cooking, for improving your research. With a student, we are working to recognize nanoparticles in image, and we spend a lot of time creating the right code with it. But now I went in a different way. I say, let's see if I can do the same using ChatGPT. And instead of providing my script, I just provide instruction of what I want. And I was able to produce results which take me a full semester in a few hours.
Wow.
So I have the validation because I already did the research. So I know what I'm expecting. But I was able to improve my code and make it faster and teach to the students.
Wow.
And I think that we need to keep in mind, like you said, you did the research and then you used ChatGPT, that while ChatGPT can produce in real time highly articulate and persuasive text, ChatGPT can also produce misinformation with that very same capacity.
Right.
And it is up to the human doing the research, doing the homework, and being able to judge, being able to evaluate that input and fact check the information, scrutinize the information without overly relying on AI tools, not just ChatGPT. And I think that this is where we come as humans.
Right. Jan, have anything else to add that, or some examples that you've seen perhaps with the ChatGPT hallucinating something, making something up?
I used ChatGPT in the classroom. So I applied it for teaching students programming software, right? And the feedback from the student was that they were amazed that they could ask ChatGPT to create the code, and then they got it, and it was kind of working. So they still had to do something to make it really happen, to have the program running as they wanted to.
Right.
So what that means is that the prompt engineering is really important. How do I ask the system at all?
Right, right.
And that's what we teach at ORU.
Right. Yeah, and more people are using ChatGPT in particular now. And there's a statistic that says that 30% of Americans use AI technology at least once, if not more, every day. So 5 years ago, that you wouldn't have had that stat, but today you have. So what has dramatically changed in the past year? Everyone seems to be talking about AI.
So several factors. One is the amount of data, the capacity of the computers, and also the new models. Transformer models do a big difference to actually create good predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say the percentage of people that use AI every day probably is close to 100% right now, because it's in every cell phone.
And they don't know it.
Right, you interact
Okay.
with systems, and they have embedded AI in the systems, from cars to navigation to everything.
Texting, right? Because it
yeah.
tries to fill in an answer. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so maybe the stat had to do with the percent of people who are adopting the large language models. Artificial intelligence itself probably would be close to 100%
Wow.
today.
Wow, wow. And that's because we have so much more data, and we now have computers and processors that are able to connect all these data points together in large neural networks, as you mentioned. But then we also have
And
Jan?
it's easy made available.
Yes.
That's the point. You
Yes.
can just open a website and just
Yes.
put your text in, and it returns it directly. You create an account, and it's
Yeah.
doing so.
So
It's more like
I guess
WhatsApp,
the language
Facebook.
model was a key, because now it's a chat,
Right.
right? If it was just GPT, right, with the training portion, that would have been more difficult, but now you have something to engage with it, which is the chat
Right.
portion.
We have a supercomputer that could do the training, but we are not doing the training. We're just using the model to do the predictions.
Right, right. That's a good distinction. Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that very much. So in our next segment, we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the challenges and concerns of artificial intelligence. I'm sure some of you have that question on your mind. Is AI becoming too powerful? Should we be concerned about that? And our wonderful guests here will help us answer that question in segment 2.